Howdy, this is Matthew Piscotti. Just want to talk a little bit about drip garden strategy and how that is really a personal thing. There's a lot of different ways you could approach this, and you really have to do what's best for you. Now, the smartest thing to do is to have a strategy, maybe base off this calculator if you like, and then stick with it, as much as possible. Now, with anything that's investing related in that realm, including crypto, there are things that you may have to adjust for, different variables, things that are occurring. And so this is one example that I'm just going to show it. At least, obviously these are always opinions because it's not financial advice telling you what to do in those situations. But for instance, today I was going to add about 10, 11 more plants. I was just going to add new capital and purchase those. Now, what happens if I do that while I have this many seeds available? This is almost a whole nother plant that I'm about to lose if I go ahead and buy these plants. It does wipe out whatever seed value that you're currently at, and so I only have a 2 hour wait. Normally, I would wait for that, and that's what I would recommend if you're about to throw some more fresh capital in to buy more plants, but you have a plant that is almost ready, even if it's like 3 or 4 hours out. I would wait for it. I mean, the value of the plant's not huge right now. It's about like 580, but you will be losing that value of a plant you could have had. Now, the reason I'm going to go ahead and plant, and this is what I mean by or buy more plants, this is what I mean by it being individual and personal to you, is I don't run this from my phone. It's kind of a personal choice. I don't like the security there. I'm just running this straight from my computer. I don't want to connect my MetaMask on the phone. I do have Trust Wallet on there. Until I get something closer to like a hardware wallet, I don't really want the wallet connected just sitting on my phone. I don't prefer that as much as I go through phones. So since I'm going to be out for most of the day, I'm going to go ahead and plant because one reason is that it looks like the plants are kind of creeping back up in price. And this may be also due to this contract balance just exploding. A lot of people are getting in here right now. And so I'd like to kind of dollar cost average back down a little bit before this raises any more. It was a little over $6 when I bought, if I recall. And then I bought those, so I started with about 14. And then I did buy, with some fresh capital in, about 10 plants just the other day. I think it was a little lower. It was 5 something, 570, 560. I have to look at the video. And so this one's 580. So we're kind of staying in this average, but helping to what they call dollar cost average, our value down per plant on average from that initial purchase that was, I believe, over $6 when I jumped in. So that's important to me to go ahead and do that before this creeps up. And then also, since I won't be around in the next couple hours, it would probably be late evening. And by that time, these 10, 11 plants that I'm able to purchase would have already made me enough that it would have balanced out. So that's why I'm purchasing 11 right now. You don't see my MetaMask pop up here, I don't believe, since this is only sharing this browser window, but I just confirmed the purchase there. And there's the successful harvest, and now we're up to 56 plants. So just a quick update with me here as well. What did I start with? About 14. I did add 10 plants at one point, and I just added 11 plants. But other than that, it's been, I think, 6, 7 days, and we went from 14. Yeah, but let's say, you could say we went from 34 with the added on, I suppose. 10 or 11 plants, 35. This started off at only about $3 a day. We're up to about $10 a day. And the compounding really makes a difference. Now, I know that I've added a little bit here and there. All I've actually done in this case, I've not invested anymore. I just had some sitting in the farm and the pool. And I'm really not happy with those returns right now. I think they will creep up. Like if you have a good amount in here and you actually are getting some return, I think that'll creep up. I would probably leave it. But personally, for me, I thought I was better spent coming over here and harvesting those out and just going ahead and slapping them here for now. I mean, really, the garden and faucet, I think, are the primaries. And most people in the Telegram groups and others would recommend faucet first for you. If you're new to all this, I think faucet should be the base level. Like I said previously, it just had a little higher rate of entry. You got to have at least one drip to get in, and you have to have at least one to add any more deposits, which is why I haven't at the moment until I have at least a couple hundred laying around to throw in there. So that's why I'm starting with the garden, and I'm adding more to the garden. I think as this contract increases, which it seems to keep doing, we might see that value of the plant go up. We might see some of these other numbers kind of shift in our favor. Now, I'm not really paying attention to the plant. That really only matters, the price of the plant really only matters when you are adding fresh, new plant capital, like actually buying some, planting some right away rather than compounding. And you can see our compounding rate went up with just those 10 plants. I was at 1.4, I think, a day, and now I'm at 1.6, or 1.86, excuse me. So I'll be at almost 2 plants a day. And I think once we compound a couple more, we will be there. And this timeline shifted a little more preferential for me today. That'll be in 10:46, so I should be back from my outings for the day. And the rest of these are pretty reasonable times, although it does shift. There's a 2 a.m. And that's a good example. In this one, while we're looking at this, I would wait until the 3:04. Likely later in the day, obviously, unless I'm happen to be up at 2 a.m., which is actually incredibly likely for me. So you never know. Every now and then you check back in. See, just sitting here, I'm already 4 cents up. So for the most part, I'm going to let this compound now, which I've said previously. I just happen to have some I pulled out of farms and pools, and see where we get to, and then drip. Same thing. I'm just letting it. Once this reaches a reasonable amount that outweighs the gas, every $5-10 somewhere in there, I'll probably do the rehydrate and toss it in. It's just not worth the gas usually to deposit $1 back in. And then, if we have a big windfall, I get taxes or something like that back. The government is taking their sweet time holding on to our money. Hey, because again, they earn interest on everything as well. There's a reason they keep a good chunk of your money they don't need every year. They could just collect the correct amount from the get-go if they wanted to. But just like the banks, everyone's making money off your money except for you. And that's why we're jumping into some of these projects, right? I mean, these are high risk. This is not financial advice. The garden's more high risk than the faucet. But all that being said, the developer seems trustworthy. This seems like a good ecosystem from what we can tell. And so that's why I'm in it. And, at the end of the day, anything could lose all of your money, any investment. You pour $500 into a stock that just tanks. But also remember with price fluctuations that you've never lost any funds unless that whole token literally disappears somehow. You've never really lost until you sell, right? And that's how stocks work. You don't actually have a loss until you sell. And so if it's something you have a lot of faith in, you might dollar cost average on the way down, meaning as the price drops, you'll buy more. This just makes your average price per share or per token or coin in the terms of crypto. It just makes your average cost per each measurement per unit lower overall. And so that helps you kind of recoup your loss quicker if that coin or stock raises back up on its own. Alexa going off here. And a lot of these concepts are why sorry about that, I had to shut Alexa off. A lot of these concepts are why you want to do your own research on all of these things. If you don't understand a concept, what is dollar cost averaging? What is DCA? Just give that a quick look up. Try to understand why you would want to do that. And general investing psychology and game theory and how people buy and sell as a whole, as a crowd, or as animals as we are on this animal farm. It's important. I wouldn't say that's like completely necessary if you're just trusting in some of these projects and just kind of strategizing when you claim and harvest and all that. But it can help a good bit understanding how the markets work and how people normally act, or which direction they normally go depending on the scenario, how things are going. It's possible that either we're getting a lot of new referrals to the garden. I mean, it's not been around very long. What else could be happening? Maybe more people, like I just had been. Maybe they're a little annoyed with putting things over here because it's not really taking off yet in the farms or the pools, and so since that's a little slow, maybe they're coming back over here to the garden. That maybe more people who have been in drip for this last year, because it's almost a year now. Maybe that's what they're doing with their gains finally. Maybe they have enough available every day to throw around in other projects, and if they're smart and they have a lot of faith in the developer in Forex Shark, they might come over here and throw it in the garden. That's a possibility as well. So there's a lot of reasons we could see this contract balance going up. A lot of reasons we could see the plant value going up in turn. But again, keep an eye on your LP. Keep an eye on your buy day. If those are going up, and they should be, if you're compounding every day, or if you're compounding every plant on this schedule, you should see these steadily creep higher. And it's a multiplier effect, right? Because every single plant gives you 86.4 thousand seeds a day. And the cost for one plant, at least in seeds, not in dollar amount and not in those LP tokens, but in seeds, the amount of the plant does not change. It's still going to be that 2,592,000 seeds. So you can see that compounding effect. Every time you get enough to make another plant a day, just stacks and stacks and stacks really, really quickly. I'm already at, just now to 12-hour wait every day. And every time I compound, that's going to get shorter. So that's pretty exciting. We're just going to see this amount keep climbing. So that's the update I have, and that's why I just pulled out of the farm and the pool for the moment. It's possible these will be doing better later, and I'm not sure that you should pull out of those, but I'm going to paper hand it a little bit and get into the thing that I want to pay out quicker. Another reason for that I hadn't mentioned is that since this is higher risk, supposedly, I mean, by the developer's own admission I think it's probably still in the white paper, this is higher risk than the faucet. It's only been out a couple months. I think December was when it launched. So it could keep being incredibly successful, as it looks like it is going to be, or it could kind of bomb out. So you never know on any of these projects, and that's kind of the point. But the return is higher than the garden, right? I mean, than the faucet right now. And with my smaller amount, I think it'll go farther quicker, which I can then turn around into the faucet. Say if we get up to where we're making, I don't know what it would have to be at for me. I'm going to say somewhere like, maybe if we get up to around 30 a day, I'm going to set the goal around like 30 to 50 range a day. If I get up to around there, that's probably where I'll start my harvesting schedule, which for most people I might not recommend that, but at least personally, I'd like to start throwing more into the faucet. So if I don't have any other type of windfall, if the IRS doesn't hurry up with my refund to throw in there, because I'd like to throw a couple hundred that way, then that would be my plan. Would be, around 30, 50 a day from the garden. I would probably replant. So I would plant, compound at least like 5 times a week, and then maybe on the weekend I would pull out that $50 Saturday, $50 Sunday, and then go back into claiming the rest of the week, just so I can throw those into drip, faucet, and start seeing that return. So that's kind of a strategy I'm thinking of as I get closer to that. I mean, we're already at $10 a day. I know I added some more capital here. That was just fresh, but something to think about. All right. Well, thanks for watching. If you're new to all this, I don't know why you would have sat through this